Okay. Setting up the meeting.
Okay, we're here. Are we live?
I don't know.
Okay, let me go. Let me see. Let's start saying, well, my head is still spinning, which is nuts, right? Okay, let's
meeting is streaming now on Facebook.
I see you. I see us. I am going to, if I can, is there any way I can do a tag? Yeah, can you hit a tag?
I'm just rocking with the Drake.
I'm gonna share this.
Turn that down. Happy Saturday. Got to get some energy going.
I wish I could hit.
Started from the bottom. Now we here.
Yes. I'm going to share this I can share this, right? I can share it.
You would like to share your screen?
I want to do it as a watch party. Can I do it as a watch party?
You absolutely can start a watch party on your page.
That's what I want to do. Share in a group. I don't want to share in a group. I just want to start a watch party. See y'all. So
interestingly enough.
Okay, there we go.
Do this for us, but I can't even see it on our page. Oh, yes, I guess I can. So good morning. How y'all doing? Let's get this going, sis. So happy Saturday. How's everything going for you today?
Oh, it's going well. It's a busy morning. Got up early this morning. As you know, I have not done my plank yet, just in case anybody's watching.
Okay.
There's still to come. It's become the last week or so, it's really become a family event. So each night it's become let's find a song, let's do something, have a theme behind this, so that either somebody's supposed to sing. One night Livy was supposed to sing, didn't happen. So we'll see how it goes tonight. And there we go with part of the team. Agent for the People team.
Hey, Jeremy. Does he have on shorts, sir?
Yes. Today is moving day.
Okay.
Day.
Let's start right off with that.
Okay.
Normally we host this Q&A on Jennifer's page. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, so we're jumping on my page to answer questions about the real estate market and
more.
And you had some big news this week, which I think was kind of misleading for some people. So kind of share what's really going on with the Agent for the People team and Jeremy in the back. Where are y'all moving? What's going on?
That's a great question. So with, of course, with everything going on these days, with where we are in this current climate, we have decided to relocate our office, meaning we're going to actually combine our Dumfries office with our Stafford office. But for those of you who know, I and Jeremiah and I work pretty much the Northern Virginia or that southeastern corridor of 95. So, mainly Prince William up to Arlington, Alexandria, Fairfax, all of that, all the way into DC, because I'm also licensed in DC. So we've decided to kind of centrally locate ourselves where we're kind of positioned between all the counties and areas that we serve, DC included, Arlington, Alexandria, Fairfax, Lorton, all that, all the way down to Prince William. So we're going to Alexandria. Yay!
Oh, all right. Yay. Congratulations.
So thank you very much. We're going to be right off of what is that, blue and maybe yellow? I can't remember if they both run through the King Street metro station. We're literally walking distance. And if you know where Theisman's is, right there off of King Street, diagonal and that whole little corridor, that's where we will be.
So, I mean, essentially you move into Alexandria, like as far as your office is concerned.
Being the Agent for the People.
Want to make you Agent for the People centrally located, but you all are leaving the company. You're just
no
better so that you can serve people.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've drank the Kool-Aid. I love Berkshire Hathaway, Home Services, Select Realty.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
I drank the Kool-Aid. I'm gonna tell you, I love my brand and I love my broker, Dan Lesher. Shout out to Dan Lesher.
That's what's up.
I have said multiple times that I'm totally all in.
In the Berkshire. So speaking of drinking the Kool-Aid with the brand, that's good stuff. You definitely want to be happy with the brokerage that you're actually with. I think it definitely makes a difference overall. But today, this morning, usually you're asking me questions, but I want to ask you some questions today because yes, we have, we're still lending, blah, 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 but what is really going on in the real estate market? And the reason why I think this call was important this morning is just because real estate is so local that I know that there's broad spread news that comes out on a mass scale, but can you speak to what's happening here locally, right in our own backyard? What the activity looks like, what people are actually doing. I was having a conversation about a house this morning that supposedly sold before it even went on the market. So I'd love to get some insight on that.
Right. So, and I'm glad that's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. In fact, because our technical difficulties, it kind of worked, I guess, in a way. I wanted to share some things, but we'll come back to that later. Yes, locally, we went into this already with the low inventory, so we all know about the whole supply and demand thing. But when everything hit, everything kind of dipped even more, and naturally so. Of course, we've got stay-at-home orders. People, no contact, the whole social distancing, and trying to figure out what is going on. And as we go forward, I'm hopeful. I'm very optimistic. And based on what I've been hearing from the groups that I've, kind of gleaned from, it is positive for real estate. Certainly we've got to get through this time. And yes, homes are still selling. People still have to move. And people, are putting their homes on the market. Now, we may not have as many, the inventory has dropped even lower, but it's still a very strong market. And as you know, rates are still very good. And for those of us, again, who have embraced technology long before COVID, and yes, thanks to you, because you pushed me out of the nest a few years ago, and I still say it over and over, good is good enough. Just get
you know what? I appreciate it. It's like, we didn't see this time coming, but we've been talking about video and video marketing. That's been my thing.
At least 4 or 5 years, Marquita, for me. You've been in it long before that. You were doing this back in what, 2008 or right? When the so-called recession.
I would say it was right after that, right after the market crashed and needed to be different. So I would say around 2010, I started doing these ugly little video cards and just kind of hanging with it, ever since. But did you have some stuff on your screen that you wanted to share today, or?
I think I can share it, but
I mean, I can let you share your screen if you want to give a visual to everybody out there. And if you have questions, feel free to type them in the actual comments on Facebook. Let me see if I can allow you to share, or
I think I can share on my end. I see the button.
Okay, yeah. So you go ahead and share your screen. I got like 3 screens up here. I don't want to share all of it.
So I'm actually not kind of clicked off that one. It's going to take me a minute, and I'll keep talking through what we were just speaking about. But because of course, embracing technology early, and let me just also disclaimer, I am not a tech whiz. I learn from people like you and others that are in the groups that I participate in. So I'm gleaning in my coaching network and ecosystem, if you will. But I'm constantly learning. And because of that, we kind of got ahead of things and being able to embrace technology. Like, it's funny, you hear and see everybody in these Zoom meetings. Marquita, we do a Zoom. I'm in a virtual Zoom office every single day, Monday through Friday. And, having worked with clients that are out of the country, out of the state, especially with our wonderful military, our veterans, being able to serve them, through technology, whether it's through Zoom platform, a FaceTime, or, some other ability, or to Google Hangouts, to be able to talk to them. And as a result of COVID, we've had to switch things up and do a lot of things now virtually. And again, being ahead of that, we were able to embrace it. And the learning curve was, we've kind of already gotten through that. Just in the words of my coach, we're having to pivot. So, with that said, we're able to now host, just kind of do things differently. And then it's funny because I actually plan to do another video, just kind of how you can sell your home virtually and how these things are happening. Well, what we can do it all online. We have electronics, digital signing. We can have these face-to-face. we can have the client, if they're not comfortable with us coming to their house in this current climate, we can do a virtual walkthrough. And then of course with, I've been using 3D photography. I've used that several times in the past.
Okay.
That allows me to be able to, feature that property, and other agents who have embraced this.
And the 3D, that makes you feel like you're like walking through,
literally walking through it. I mean,
Okay.
it's like, it's one thing to do our virtual video tours, which my photographer has always done for me, but this takes it to a whole nother level.
Okay.
You can literally kind of position yourself in the room, and just kind of, I mean, if you want to zoom in, like behind me, you can see this board, or you can zoom right in and see everything that's on it, or get in that little corner, if you will. It will take you to the smallest crevice, corner or place in that room. And also you can just kind of pan your way throughout. You can even go with, look at the ceiling. So there's so many ways that we can help our homeowners, those that need to sell. I mean, let's face it, a great portion of both of our business is what? Our veterans, our military families. And they, the military didn't shut down because of COVID. They still have to, they still have orders, they still have to go, people are still coming in. So how can we serve them? And it's, again, whether they're locally or not. So with that said, we're able to position ourselves and put ourselves in a place. Marquita, I'm sorry, I told you this morning I can't grab some of this stuff, but anyway.
That's okay. So well, you can just, and we don't have to necessarily be technical, but okay, so we know that we had a shortage of inventory pre-COVID.
Yes.
We're during the pandemic. Is there been an increase in showings that you've seen, or is the increase inflated because people virtually?
Great. That's a great question. So virtually, the increase obviously is off the charts. So like Zillow, because that's one of the main, that's where everybody goes, right? I mean, let's just face it, it's there for the consumer. Traffic has picked up since March 22nd, outpacing the remaining just a few percentage points behind 2019 level through early April. So Zillow is even seeing an increase. And then and also with the pending sales. So they're also reporting, and this was as of Thursday. The pending sales turned positive the week of April 15th and is up 6.2% week over week as of 7 days ending in, again, April 19th. This was per their April 19th.
So from last year to now, you're basically saying that we're up 6% on pending sales in the middle of a
national
and I got to think that is very, I wonder how that's going all around the country, but I can at least say that I feel like this area, kind of moves at the beat of our own drum or whatever. And I just think that's amazing that the actual percentage is up. I mean, I guess part of it is people still are going to need somewhere to live. Like you said, if someone's selling right now, it's because they have to sell.
Exactly.
The buyer would be out because maybe they're just tired of their current situation. And when this is over, they're still going to need to, relocate. So
correct.
Said kudos to you all doing everything that you can to keep it safe, but also keep it moving. I feel very fortunate to be in the industry that I'm in right now, that is, even with all of our challenges with forbearance, is able to still move forward, still help people to, achieve the American dream per se.
Absolutely.
6% in pending sales. So do you have any numbers on like where we are with houses under contract, or were you able to grab information? Or
I was actually. So just speaking to Prince William County, because a lot of this is actually on a national level, what we were talking about when I was giving you the numbers from Zillow. That's basically on a national level. But when we talk, like if we want to drill down, and I'm just going to keep it to Prince William County this morning, time and so forth. But based on where we are right now, we have just the last 25 days, we've had an increase of 424 new listings.
Wow.
Just this past 25 days. And I pulled that this morning. Last month, we had 869 in the month of March. New listings. Pending, currently we're at, now certainly pending is down, but not by much from last month. So this month, and I'm talking, we're still in April. We're not even at the end of April, but as of right now for Prince William County,
Excuse me.
I've calculated about 499 pending sales. And then
Wow.
you've got, yeah. Now, these are, and we know that it's about a 35, 40 days. So these are people that actually went under contract at some point when we got our announcement.
Yes.
See what I'm, so we're still, you can see right there alone that people are still buying houses, are out in our market. And then compared to March, all of March, there were 615 pending sales. So
Okay.
you can see the mark. And then of course that we started the year off like phenomenal with, we started the year, actually the last couple of years. And based on my, our business and what we've seen is, January, March, our first quarter started off like spring market, honestly.
It
Until
did. And you know
COVID
what?
hit, and we were on a,
I think the weather had something to do with it too. I just felt like we never really had a winter here where
no,
really didn't want to go anywhere, or, I think we had a 2-hour delay one time on a warning, and then nothing.
nothing happened.
No, but by the
Yes.
time, it was kind of strange. So I felt like the weather, helped us out with that. And we just kind of went with gangbusters. And then, in February, we had a massive rate dip, far as the interest rates were concerned. I think all of those things probably factored in together. And now we come into this pandemic, but I'm telling you, the real estate bus around here seems to not be stopping regardless.
It's still moving. It is still happening. Absolutely.
And I think that's positive though.
It's very positive.
Right. I think it's positive for a number of reasons.
Absolutely.
Because why do you think it's positive? Yeah.
I think it's positive because one, a lot of people are fearful, thinking we're right where we were, back in 08. We're not. Again, this is not a housing crisis. The housing market is still very strong. And it's usually the housing market that pulls us out of these slumps, these times. And right now we're still holding fast. And also because our interest rates are still very good. Inventory is low. Now you mentioned about the buyer traffic. Let me just speak right now. I think we're actually more or less, yes, the supply and demand. And we know when there's less supply, there's greater demand, which is great for a seller. But what I'm saying is in traffic, I'm seeing more of a level playing field right now. So, really? I mean, yeah, okay. I think it's both. I mean, I think it's, the buyers are still able to get a great opportunity, although they can't sleep on that property that they see, because there are multiple, there are multiple out there, multiple buyers being submitted, because there are other buyers looking. So, okay. And with that, it just depends on, again, we can get granular on this and talk about different, pockets, locations, and where you see more multiple offers, or when, what are the driving forces there. But I think we're kind of moving more into a balanced playing field right now, even though the inventory is still low. And we do have buyers out there. I'll say the pendulum is still swinging a little higher, more on the seller side. But again, wow. I think we're still in it's a little more of a level playing field.
Well, I think that's good information. And you started to touch on why I was like, this is an important talk, and we're going to get the talk out there. And of course, you have, issues with your Zoom or whatever, we can't get it done. But I think the biggest piece for that is that a lot of us, during this COVID, there's a lot of widespread fear.
Oh, and yeah.
There's a lot of fear out there because, and it's fear of the unknown. I'll admit it. Exactly. I mean, it's some scary stuff.
Yeah.
Not really live in fear. And I think one way you try to get through fear is to beat it with facts.
Correct.
So I'm on today and kind of talk about some of the facts. I mean, people are already seeing their 401ks, drop into the tank with the stock market. The next biggest thing that many of us have as far as building wealth is our home. So that, I think it's very important for us to address right now where we are in the market and where we think we'll be going. Far as prices dipping in value, because the last time this happened, that was truly a housing crisis, and the bottom fell out.
Yeah,
I can't see that with the type of activity that we have, and even if we remain stagnant, meaning
right,
change, that's much better. Far as hey, my house stayed the same value before versus the bottom falling out. I just don't see that happening around here, and I can't really speak to other markets. So that's why I was like, hey, I definitely wanted to get on and get some expertise about that. Like I said, usually we have more mortgage questions, but I think it's better that we, kind of talk some more about the real estate and the numbers. And I do feel like housing will lead the charge, as you mentioned, to get out of this recession that we will be in. So the numbers are still piling in. The big word for us has been forbearance. We're not talking about that today, but right now the numbers show about 6%. I think they're underreported right now. So about 7% of the mortgages are, in forbearance, but in relation to the number of people that have filed unemployment claims, I think you're going to see that number increase over time. However, we're still going to fight to, keep the market liquid and it moving forward. So like I said, definitely, I appreciate, jumping on the sharing today.
I appreciate it. Yeah. And just, again, I think we're going to probably see a stronger fourth quarter. I mean, now we're going to start to see things kind of shoot up. I mean, according to, again, some of the major, financial institutions, they're predicting what is called a V curve. Now, again, you got to have understanding what that is and what the different curves are, but without getting into all of that, I think we'll probably see a little bit of an uptick, as we move into third, fourth quarter. And then going in, I believe we're going to have a stronger next year. Obviously, we've got to get through this, but the good news is this. There are people and, still out there. The market is still moving and it's still moving. We're not moving at the pace we started off at. Obviously, nothing is at this point in this time, but I think that we are going to see a gradual, uptick.
Well, like you said, it's creating a level playing field. Is probably creating some opportunities for people that should be homeowners, but had continued to rent because they couldn't get in at the price point they needed. It was too much competition. So it's like, hey, if you're looking to buy your first home or buy your next home, then right now might still be a good time to actually explore that option.
Or certainly get in position. I think with that said, maybe we should bring in maybe a credit expert or someone to kind of chat maybe in the next week or two to kind of talk to people. I mean, certainly you are totally, this is your wheelhouse, but what folks should do because of the changes, that's you.
No.
But no, seriously. Funny. But because of the changes and the overlays, and although like you said, maybe this is going to present opportunities for some people, but you've got to have your house in order, meaning you've got to have the reserves and the things that are being, with the changes, like we've got to get the credit scores up. We've got to have, those things in place. And what, maybe we just have this conversation next week, what folks need to do to get in position so they can take advantage while the rates are still very low. Because I
think we will be in a low rate climate for a little while.
Yeah.
So that's positive. And that's just because I think you'll see everything start to move, like you said, maybe fourth quarter into the first quarter next year.
That's what I think.
Get more certainty, get more facts about really what's going on. And with that, the information that we receive has to be subjective, or you have to consider the source. But that's a whole nother thing. I'm not here to talk about that. But I think one of the byproducts of this is that we have become more creative. Like I said, I appreciate you guys as the real estate team, finding different ways to keep it moving forward. Kudos and respect to all of the real estate agents out there.
We're in this together.
Shelter at home, work from home, 3 different screens, even got the make studio and kind of not necessarily miss a beat, but you all are still out there in the public. So we definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest byproduct of this that I hope happens is that we do get our house in order. And unfortunately, we needed to already have that. And don't get me wrong, I have some areas too that I'm like, wow, I'm very unprepared. You stay ready, you don't have to get ready, like says all the time, but it's very much true. So I'm hoping that people will come out of this a little more whole as far as financing and knowing where they really are, or take steps to get your credit in order. Because time when they decide that they don't want to lend to the marginal or lower credit scores, then you're done. So we talk about it all the time, but now we're seeing it happen in real time. I think as Americans, we just, we're apathetic about stuff because we're so used to it just being just the status quo.
Oh, absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
changed, and we're like, oh my God, we're just unprepared. So
Right.
that's another byproduct of this, is that we will come out of this, more prepared, more healthy, because
Yes.
we're taking walks, right?
Yeah.
Maybe some
Yeah.
healthier relationships that we're able to actually spend time, and then some healthier credit and financial stuff, as we see that, the money can be pulled away quickly, if you're not prepared, or when the chance comes to make a move, we just can't get it done because now the standards have changed. So I think that'll be a great talk on next weekend.
I think so too. In fact, I don't know if you have any questions on your end. I have someone. Good morning,
Let me see.
Pastor Renee. She said, "How about savings over time?"
What about them?
Yeah, can you give us a little more, elaborate a little more? What do you mean, Pastor Renee? Savings over time, I'm just going to say what first comes to my mind in response to that is absolutely, if saving your money over time, getting in position so that when you are ready to purchase, whether it's now or next year or 6 months from now, definitely want to make sure you have reserves, have some savings, have those credit scores up, Marquita. That's what we were talking about the last two times together, just being in position so that you are able to purchase and having that savings.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that's what you meant.
So yeah, I'm not sure where that question is going. I think you always want to have, some type of savings, some type of the reserves. I mean, you talk to as far as financial planning, talks about having a rainy day fund or some type of emergency account that you've actually built up.
Oh, hey, here's another one.
And we're seeing that in reality right now. We just feel like we're still gonna be able to go to work. We'll earn some more money next week, and we'll put the money away then. And now we're in the middle of, where's my 6 month or 2 month or 3 month rainy day fund? It's not. Surely during COVID, this would be a time that you would say it's definitely raining right now.
Yeah, it's raining. All right. She responded. She says, "Are lenders looking at savings in the bank?" And then she goes, "Yes, you answered my question." Okay, praise God. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
We got another one. We've got another one here.
Okay.
Hey, it's from my coach. He says, and I mean, he's in a completely different market, but this is right. When he says, "What does the future of lending and buying look like for lower credit score buyers under 680 with investors buying the loans?" And that is a fantastic question.
Well, we were going to go into depth in that next week. So I thank you for my segue in to, making sure you tune in next week on what happens if you don't have a 680 credit score and you want to purchase a home. In a nutshell, sir, I'm going to say that it is going to be tougher. That's the bottom line. There is and I don't want to call it a silent fight, but there is a silent fight to the general consumer that's happening on the back end between loan servicers, non-bank lenders, loans, and liquidity in the market. So that's going to be a huge thing. So it is going to be absolutely imperative to raise those credit limits, because at any time, I mean, literally any time, these programs can be pulled off the table. I personally had to I don't even want to talk about it. I get frustrated. I had to refer some clients out because we had already, the product was gone and we were no longer offering it. And it's been vice versa. I've had other lenders have to call me to bring in products. So I think that's going to be a very slippery slope. So my mantra will be, get your house, as far as your credit, in order right now. So you have to be excluded from the buying conversation just based on your credit score.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. So that's really all I got. I don't have any other questions on my page unless I'm missing it.
That's it for me too. Thank you all for joining us, and certainly please tune in. Hopefully we Zoom on my end should be in better place. If not, I'll certainly join in as a watch. Marquita will have it posted. Between now and next week, please send us any questions you may have, or certainly join in and just we'll be better at looking at the questions, and hopefully we'll be able to answer them next week, 11 o'clock every Saturday.
11 o'clock. 11.
What did I say? What did I say?
11 o'clock. I said 11-ish. The quarantine's 11.
Okay.
whatever that means, you know,
Jeremy said you still have to wake up even if you are working from home. Hey, she's been up and worked
exactly.
out this morning. What are you talking about, young man? Thank you so much, Pastor Renee, Coach Chris, and everyone else who joined us. Carlos. Hey, we got G Green on the line here. All right, guys. Thank you again. And we will see you next Saturday, 11 o'clock. What is it? What did you call it? The quarantine 11?
The quarantine 11, which is
Quarantine 11. Question and
11-ish.
answers with your Queen of Mortgages and your agent for the people.
All right,
Signing
y'all.
out, everyone. Thank you, Marquita.
All right.
All
Later.
righty. See ya.